So the next aspect that we're going to talk about in playing goalie is positioning. And this was probably one of the greatest aspects that I was known for when I was playing. I was really known for being back in the goal. And this was something that my father, Coach Tierney, taught me as I grew up. I believe that being back on the goal line allowed me to give the time that I needed to react to the ball. A lot of coaches feel like you should be way out on an arc and playing the angle. My argument against that is, one, that was developed by hockey goalies, and hockey goalies play in front of a small goal with a lot of padding on. So it's very easy for them to come out and take a lot of angle. Two, the same argument being from hockey goalies is that hockey goalies know where the puck is on the ground. A lacrosse shooter can change where his stick is at any time. The release point in a ball can come from anywhere. So angle becomes a lot less of a factor in playing lacrosse goalie. I really feel like setting yourself up back in the goal gives you the time and room that you need to make that quick reaction. Remember, the difference between a yard or two and being back on the goal line is insurmountable when it comes to split-second reactions. So I like to be back as far as possible, my heels almost on the goal line. This is what is called a flat arc. The positioning I'm going to teach you today, though, it doesn't matter whether you play a flat arc or maybe you play a little bit of an arc up here. That's fine. The positioning comes in how you square up to the shooter. A lot of coaches will teach you to play an arc where you just kind of move your feet from side to side in a small arc along the goal, in front of the goal. And that's fine, but I think there's a better way that you can play goalie, and this is what I teach goalies. The thing that I teach is being square to the shooter. So the first thing I say to a goalie is pretend that you have two lines coming out of your shoulders and it's making a target to the shooter. That shooter should always be in between those two lines as the goalie. So if a shooter's up here, top right, what I'm going to do is bring this top left foot up a little bit and turn my body and square up to the shooter. If the shooter's right in the middle, right where the camera is here, both my heels are on the goal line and I'm squaring up to the shooter here and he's right between my target lines. If the shooter's up here, I'm turning this right foot up, my left foot staying back, and I'm staying square to the shooter. Now notice what happened when I did that. What you'll see a lot of goalies do is, as they move their feet and the shooter moves from side to side up top, they'll move across the goal and their feet will be all the way on the pipe. The thing that I like to teach goalies is staying towards the middle of the goal. Shooters really always want to shoot across their body and across your body. So if a shooter's sweeping from top left to top right, I'm going to bring my left foot up here and I'm going to stay in the middle of the goal. Very few shooters have the ability to shoot this inside pipe from that top area. So I'll stay in the middle of the goal, they try to shoot across their body and across mine, and I'm there to make the save very easily. It's a very easy save for me to make. I don't even have to step very far. Same thing on this side. When they sweep from top right to top left, I bring this right foot up. They try to shoot across my body. I'm right here all the time. It makes shooters miss the goal a lot too, because they think they see some space to the inside pipe, but it's an incredibly tough place for them to hit the goal. So obviously now that we've talked about kind of the top left shot, the top center shot, and the top right, now we got to talk about some inside shots and the player gets close to the pipe. As the player comes further and further down the side, so I've brought this right foot up top, he's sweeping further and further across, and I'm going to slowly make my way over to the pipe and bring the outside of my left foot to the inside of the pipe. And then I'm taking away that pipe area shot, and I'm not letting him get a cheap, easy goal to the inside. Same thing over here as he sweeps down the right alley. I'm bringing this left foot up and then slowly working my way down, bringing my right foot to the outside of the pipe. So you see, I basically get around the goal in very few steps. I'm always in good position. The guy's up over on this side, it's just one step. I'm always staying square and I'm making minute little adjustments to make sure he's within the two lines of my shoulders. The guy's up here, squaring up, and then slowly making my way down the pipe. This makes it really easy to get from pipe to pipe in the goal. The final thing we need to talk about is inside shots. Inside shots, I always believe the further back I could get in the goal, the easier it would make it for me. When you become, as you grow in being a goalie and you come to step out on better and better players, they're going to fake and jam it around you every time. It'll be an easy goal for them. But if you learn to stay home and stay in the goal, you can make it a lot harder on them. The closer guys got to the goal around the crease area, the more I got back into the net. There were some times when I even had shooters complain that I had made the save back in the goal, but refs would never call the goal. And most of the time, it was because I had saved it in front of the goal line. So that's one thing I really suggest you work on in one-on-ones in practice. As guys are doing, getting in on the crease on you, back up into the goal, give yourself as much time as you can to react and try to get a piece of it. The last thing with that is that you're giving yourself a chance. You're not going to make every save in goal, especially against one-on-one shots. So just by giving yourself a chance and staying in the goal, you make it hard on the shooter and you make it a little bit easier on yourself. So the last little tip that I want to give you with positioning is something that I started doing later in my career. I watched a lot of hockey growing up, and I always loved the way Patrick Waugh played, and pretty much every hockey goalie does this himself. But when the puck's behind the net, they always kind of they keep their body forward and look behind. Now, if the ball was way behind the net, that's when I would turn completely around and square up to the feeder. But if the feeder started getting closer and I knew he was in a position to make a good feed for an easy shot on the inside, I would get square to the pipe, look behind over my shoulder, and then as he made the feed, I'd be be able to make an easy adjustment to be in position for the shot. Same thing on this side of the goal. If the feeder was over here, he's driving upfield, I can tell he's getting ready to feed. I look over my shoulder and I'm able to square up and make an easy adjustment and hopefully make a save. So that's just one last little tip for you to try out and see if it works well for you. So these are all the things that are important parts of being in good position. Either having your feet back on the line or being in a slight arc if you prefer that. Squaring up to the shooter, always having those lines come out of your shoulder and using them as a target to square up to that shooter. Staying more towards the middle of the goal, so as the shooter's coming down the alley, you're always in good position. And then from behind, staying with your body square to the front of the goal and looking over your shoulder. These are all things that are really simple to work on and can make positioning much easier. It doesn't have to be very complicated. Some coaches think it's really a exact science, but if you can do these three or four little things, you can become a great positional goalie like I was.